All right. Hello. Sorry. Lots of craziness today, right? So first of all, there was no class today. Then there was class today. So I see that some of you were here. So you got the real email. And now I'm trying to set up my space. And I just did a summit interview. So my space was harder to get together after that summit. I'm going to be in another summit about menopause. And so, yeah, I've got my space lit up there for him, but I guess everything looks okay, right? Trying to get my space ready. Anyway, who is here? Terry, hello. Donna, hello. Shizwe, good morning. I just put my yuzu in the freezer, Shizwe. Okay, look at there's my, can't have that. All right. Wash them and everything, so I can't wait. Carolyn, good morning. Hi, Desiree. Have I met you before? And then Deborah, hi, how are you? So thank you for being here because I know that we sent out an email on accident saying no live, and now we're saying live. And I just looked at what my theme was because I choose a theme every week. So core and balance. I hope we're ready for core and balance. Any questions or any requests? Yesterday in my class, I teach 5 live classes a week. So yesterday in my class, I asked that question. And what it was really interesting to me is when you do tell me that you have issues or things you want to focus on, I go into my memory bank of yoga, which is pretty extensive, teaching since 2010, and bring out things that I'm like, oh yeah, and then there's that'll help with frozen shoulder, or that'll help with low back or something like that. And then of course, with osteoporosis, there's definitely a treasure chest there that I tap into when I need. So today I wanted to focus on core and balance, which means a lot of the postures will focus on strengthening, lengthening, and increasing range of motion in areas of our body that will support balance and also support our core. Well, nice to have you, Desiree. And I just took off my my glasses, so I squint when I look. Oh my God, this aging thing. Ugh. My optometrist or ophthalmologist said that eyesight worsens until age 60, and that at age 60, it's a pretty steady rate. So got a couple more years before that. So I'm still on that, downward spiral or whatever it is. Well, welcome, Desiree. All right. So let me go back to where my space is. And if I put this like this, are you going to see like that? There. I've got my podcast microphone here because this is where I do a lot of my work here is in this physical space, whether it's teaching yoga or doing podcasts and summit interviews, working with clients, whatever it is, it happens here. All right. So last time I taught in this new location, I really utilized my wall. And what I noticed after I taught the last time was that there was a lot of, I felt it. I felt more intense because I used the wall. So let me make sure that you can see me, that everything is right. What is that right there? Oh, that's that. Okay. Okay. So let's do it. Let's get prepared to do what we need to do for today's practice. Just make sure that I am structured. Sorry, technical difficulties with lighting back here. All right. Okay. So for today's practice, make sure that you have the props that will help to support the practice. So if balance is an issue, and today we are going to focus on balance. So when we focus on balance, that typically means that especially if you have issues with balance, if you're going to do a practice that focuses on balance and balance is an issue, you always want to be safe. Okay, the main thing that we're trying to do is fracture prevention, right? If you have osteoporosis or osteopenia, the thing that we're avoiding the most is fracturing a bone, because there's so many facets to that will disrupt or reduce your quality of life, right? And the closer you get to age 80, fractures can lead to death. And I think that's an important thing to note as well, is that when we hear about 25% of all hip fractures lead to death, from the injury itself, 25% of the people become immobile and rely on others for the rest of their lives, and usually within a year pass from that fall. So up to 50% of the time, if you fracture a hip, it can lead to death and really lack of independence. And then, the others can heal. But the thing to note about that is it's typically around the age 80-ish or beyond. And it's usually a very frail person that happens to. So the stronger we can come to that age, the more strength we have in our body and potential strength we have in our bones, then the less likely we are to have that. So I want to challenge ourselves with balance today, which means that there's going to be a precariousness, and there's going to be a movement in your joints and a movement in your body. And so for that, having either a chair, if you need a chair, having a wall, if you need a wall, can be a really important part of supporting you in that. And then having a block, a strap, and a blanket are the basic props that we'll use. If you don't have these, then get things that look like these. Towels can really fill a lot of these gaps. You could use a towel as a strap, a towel as a blanket, a towel rolled up to be a block. So get whatever it is you need to support you in your practice. And then beginning the practice, making sure that we come to this moment of connecting the mind and the body. We're going to do the beginning posture to help get the mind and body connected. And for that, we're going to use something behind our spine. So today I'm going to take a blanket, and I'm going to fold this blanket, I think, in fourths. So it's not quite a roll. And you don't want this to be too high, because we're going to put it right back here behind our heart, right back behind the thoracic spine in thoracic 5, 6, and 7, which this part of your spine is the least flexible, the least movable part of your spine, exists right behind your heart. So we're going to put that right behind, and you do not need a very big, big opener for that. You don't need a lot of folding to happen. So fold your blanket, bring your blanket onto your mat. We're going to come down into the ground. We're going to start to focus on connecting our breath with this present moment, to bring you here, to bring you into a very connected mind-body space, so that when you do start to move, you don't, you're very connected, you don't injure yourself, right? Injury prevention, very important part of what we do. So we're going to come onto our backs, making sure that your spine stays nice and long. You can lower yourself down like this. And then we want the blanket to be behind the heart. So put it out, it's like a bra line, where the bra line would be. That's where you want to place the blanket. And then bring yourself down onto the floor. Keep your knees bent. Keep your eyes open so you can be very aware of where you are. Eyes are open. Blanket is underneath your heart. And then lift your head up, tuck your chin towards your chest, lengthen your head, or lengthen your neck. So lengthening your head away from your torso. And then bring your arms out to the side. Do a little bit of movement. You want to coax some movement and increased range of motion in your shoulders and in your chest. So moving your arms, getting yourself with the eyes open to really arrive, to come to where you are, to be right here, right now. And then take your arms and rest your arms above your body, so above the blanket. The blanket should not be in the top part of your back. You should have space above the blanket on your back. Have it underneath the heart. Then take your arms pretty high and pretty wide to where you feel a pretty substantial stretch in your arms, your chest, your shoulders. And then bring your awareness to the low back. So as we start to manipulate the middle spine, it translates to the upper and to the lower spine. So noticing here with the eyes open, what's happening in your lower spine? The arms are overhead, lifting your head up, lengthening your neck. And then let's let the head go side to side. Keep your eyes open. So the eyes are open here. And then close your eyes as your head goes side to side. Keep your mouth closed. Let your tongue rest in your lower jaw. You're going side to side. And notice if you feel anything shifting in your ears, in your head. Feel the back of your head rolling on the ground. And then bring yourself to a neutral position. Let your arms be heavy, keeping your knees bent. Your feet are wider than your body. You can walk your feet a little closer to your body if your low back is unhappy, helping to give a little bit more freedom to the pelvis, not so much pulling on the lumbar spine. Lift the head up, tuck the chin. You want that long neck, so you may feel a little extra stretch at the upper back and neck and shoulder blade area. Let that exist, unless, of course, it's really uncomfortable. Starting to correct your posture. So when it comes to balance, we need the line of communication from the brain down through the spinal canal to the sacrum, which is the base of the spine, to branch off to your legs, to go down to your feet. So we need this open line of communication of the nervous system and the musculoskeletal systems, the bones and the muscles, the nerves, and the brain. So trying to open up all the places, the line of communication that would take place. Mouth is closed. Jaw is relaxed. Deep breaths to your belly. Start to direct the breath deeper to your belly. Follow the breath up and down the spine. So as we want that nervous system communication for balance to travel from brain down the spine to the sacrum, let your breath take that same pathway right now. And follow the inhale all the way down to the tailbone. Follow the exhale all the way up from the tailbone to the nostrils. Let your awareness go inside, feeling the breath going up and down your spine. And then take 3 more breaths. Stay with those breaths. Follow the breath down to your tailbone. And then let the breath go back to your body. Noticing what you notice, pay attention to your breath. Keep focusing on your breath. Notice the stretch. And then take your legs to a straight position. Take your arms overhead. Legs are straight, arms are overhead. And stretch. Then flex the feet so the heels move away from you and the heels of the hands move away from you. So flexing your wrists so that your fingers are moving away from your body. You're reaching through the heels of your hands, like you're Spider Woman and you're shooting webs on the wall behind you. Try to get your arms to go as close to the ground as you can when you do this. And then flex your feet, so reach through the heels of the feet. Draw the toes up towards your head. So the toes are pulling in, the heels are reaching away, the heels of the hands are reaching away. And then breathe to your belly, keep your mouth closed. You should feel a pretty strong stretch in the midsection, stretching the belly. So stretching all the tissues, all the places, all the muscles of the core and the torso, which are very important when it comes to balance. Take one more breath. And then go ahead and bend your knees. Blink your eyes open. So we're going to do a little bit of movement to stretch. So the communication of the nervous system comes down the brain, down the spinal canal, branches off the sacrum to the legs. So let's stretch this part of our body. And we're going to keep the blanket behind the spine to do this. So if you didn't have a blanket behind your spine, putting one back behind your spine would be important in this direction, sideways. And not too elevated, so don't fold it too much. Take your hands, clasp your hands behind your head so that your elbows reach to the side, your thumbs go down your neck, the palms are supporting your head, and then gently add a little traction, pulling your head away from your torso. So you have a really nice long neck area. Then try to place the elbows into the ground, push the elbows down. Now, for those of you that have scoliosis, having any kind of scoliosis patterns in the body, you might notice a little bit more tension on one side versus the other. And scoliosis develops quite often in mainly women. So it's mostly women that have this, but there can be functional scoliosis that comes into our life as we age, or dysfunctional patterning in the spine. So if you do notice that one side's a little bit more tight, just something to pay attention to. Maybe you stretch that side more often if you do notice that in your body. So take your elbows out to the side, and then let's take the right leg over the left leg. So the right leg is over the left leg. You have your left foot on the ground. And then you're going to inhale slowly, pushing the legs away from you as you let your legs go to the left. Keep the left tushy on the floor and try not to let the right buttock come off the floor too much. That's your inhale. As you exhale, contract your core. Imagine you're squeezing the big juicy orange in your tummy to come back to neutral. Try to keep both elbows on the ground the whole time. Inhaling, letting the right leg go over to the left. Exhale back to center. It's a very small movement. You're not throwing your legs over to the side. You're not letting your right buttock fly off the ground. Inhaling into this movement, exhale back. And then one more. Let your head go to the right, stay here. Push your belly button to your spine, feel the left buttock where most of your weight is. Push your right top thigh away from you, try to create more space in your right waist area. Push your right elbow into the floor, push your left elbow into the floor. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself back up to center. Let's take the left leg over the right leg. So there's no space between the legs. You're touching the back of the left thigh, touching the top of the right thigh. Inhale, let your legs go to the right. Push your elbows into the floor to manage the weight of the legs moving to the right, and then contract your core to come back to center. Inhale and exhale. So as you inhale to the side, it's not just to the side, it's also that you're lengthening your left waist here. You're pushing your left leg away from you and letting it go to the right. Feeling that stretch, pressing both elbows into the floor to help support your body weight. Come back to center. Last time we're going to go. Then let your head go to the left. Push both elbows into the floor. Push the left leg away from you. Legs are to the right. Head is to the left. Take one more breath. Contract your core. Bring yourself back up to center. Take your arms long again. Take your legs long. Stretch what you need. Take your hands, make them into fists for wrists. So make little fists here, and then you're moving your wrist around. So move your wrists, not your arms. So your arms are not moving, your arms aren't bent, your arms are straight, and you're moving just the wrists in one direction and then in the other. So feel that stretch that's coming into the wrist. And then go ahead and bend your knees. Bring yourself onto your side, preparing to come up. Always doing anything you can do to keep yourself strong as you age, because stronger muscles mean stronger bones. Do not lift your head up. Let your shoulder lead the way. So I want you to push. Use your pushing muscles of your body. Push, push, push. Let your head go along for the ride. And then bring yourself all the way up and all the way out of that. Get your blanket. Open up your blanket. So when it comes to balance, making sure that this part of the body is nice and limber and open, that is an important aspect of what we need to do when it comes to bone health. So come up here onto your shins, take your hands down alongside your body. If you bring your legs closer together for balance, it's going to be a challenge. So having your legs together, a little bit more challenging for balance. If balance is an issue, separate your legs a little bit. Bring your legs into whatever position you like. Take your hands down. Inhale, spread your fingers. Let your head go up with your hands. Reach up on the inhale. Turn your palms down for the exhale. Lengthen the back of the neck. Tuck the chin towards the chest. Inhale, reach through your hands. Reach through the fingers. Reach as far as you can overhead. Feel that stretch in your belly. And by the hip joint, turn your hands down, chin to chest. Next time your hands come up, bring your right hand down, left hand up, and then switch. Really reach through your hands. So one hand is reaching down, one hand is reaching up, lengthening your body. And then take your hand and bend your hand behind your head. Look up towards the sky or look up towards that elbow. And then bring yourself back to center. Take our hands, inhale out. Open up your heart, let your shoulder blades slide towards each other. Exhale to hug yourself. Now, when you do hug yourself, you open up. When you hug yourself, do not round yourself to hug yourself. Keep yourself in a neutral spine as you bring your arms to hug yourself. Inhale and exhale. And then bring yourself out, shake your arms. So let's do a little challenge with balance here. Let's take the right foot forward. So bring your right foot forward. This is my right foot. So don't mirror me, just bring the right foot forward. Right foot forward, and then I want you to take your right foot and walk your right foot to the middle. So bring your right foot closer to center, to the middle. And then look straight ahead. Noticing here what that does to your body for balance. Now you're balancing on your left hip joint. So you're balancing in that hip joint. The right foot may be trying to grasp the floor, the left foot, and especially if you're close to the center, you're like on a tightrope. It's a more confusing communication neuromuscularly. And so you're going to notice that. Now, if you want to challenge yourself a little more, just take your arms down alongside your body, close one eye, and then switch, close the other eye. If you want to try to close both eyes, you could challenge yourself with both eyes and feel what happens in the joints. Feel that right foot that's forward, the ankle, the foot. Feel the left hip, the left foot. And then go ahead and open your eyes. So there should be some wobbly aspect. Now take that right foot over to the right and notice how this becomes a very sturdy structure. This is more like a triangle shape, which is the most sturdy structure in nature. So that wider base is going to give you that real stabilizing feeling. Using the eyes, when we close the eye, one or the other, visual is a very important aspect of balance. It's one of the balance areas. Vestibular, which is head position, visual, which is the eyes, and then the other is neuromuscular. So let's now come into the other side. So come on to right leg back, left leg is forward. Bring your left leg forward and then walk your left leg closer to the midline. Woo! Now you're balancing on your right hip joint. And notice, keep your eyes open, keep your hands down unless you need them to support you like the tightrope walkers do. And feel what's happening in your body. Feel what's happening in your joints. What's happening in the hip, the right hip that you're on here. What's happening in that left foot, trying to navigate where you are. If you want to add the challenge, you could close one eye and then switch. Woo. And then you could try to close both. Woo. Woo. And just, it's always fascinating to me. But this is a place where we're close to the floor. So maybe you feel a little bit safer to do this, right? And everything is always about challenging yourself safely and then bring yourself out. Go into that real sturdy, solid place with your leg out to the side. Feel how that feels. Feels really nice. Now, while we're here, let's just do an inner thigh stretch. We'll go back to the other side. So the left leg is out. Bring the left leg directly on the side of your body, and your right leg is directly underneath your body. Your left ankle is underneath your heel. Take your left hand on your inside of your left knee, nice tall body, and then open up your right hand diagonally. Look at your right fingertips. Push the left hand into the left leg. Might feel a stretch on the right side, might feel the left inner thigh stretch here. Breathe down to your belly, really opening up the pathway of communication by that front left hip joint. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself out. Let's do the same thing on the right side. So take the right leg. You're turning your toes away from you, perpendicular to your body. Your right knee's coming off the side. Take your right arm. Keep the right arm straight. Push the right knee away from you. Bring the left hand up. Reach through the fingertips and let your gaze look through the fingertips. Pushing your right knee away. Push away from the floor with your legs to get as tall as you can in your torso. And then reach through the hand, reach through the fingertips, get tall in your torso here. Take one more breath and then bring yourself out. Shake your hands, shake your wrists. Come to sit down on your heels if you can. You could also grab a block and put the block in between your legs, sitting on your heels. Or if your knees are not happy bending, then come into a seated position. So with balance, the shoulder girdle plays a very important role in balance. So take your hands on your elbows. Take your hands on your, okay, let me learn how to speak. Take your hands on your shoulders by bending your elbows. Let your elbows go up and down, and then bring them up. Bring them down, bring your chin towards your chest, elbows towards each other. Reach the elbows up, out, back, and down. Up, out, back, and down. Close your eyes here. Keep your teeth together. Feel the neck stretch. And then do one more. And then bring yourself back to center. Let's bring the arms up into a scarecrow arm position. This is a great way to take a break throughout the day. If you're sitting a lot, it's a great way to strengthen the muscles of posture and alignment in the upper spine. Push your hands back, look side to side. Try to get your arms to be at shoulder height. Try to get the forearm to be right alongside your ear, the wrist right on top of your arm, and your hand right on top of the wrist. So try not to have the arms too far forward and then bending the wrist. Try to keep pushing the arm so it comes right alongside your body. And it may not. And so if it's not, then that means you've got some tightness either in the musculature of the chest or the shoulders, or you have rounding in your spine. All important things to work on when it comes to osteoporosis. Push back with your hands as if you're up against the wall. Chin is parallel towards the ground. Now slide the shoulder blades together as if you were pinching a pencil between your shoulder blades. Really slide the shoulder blades towards each other. Long spine. Push your hands back to the place where you start to feel tension developing. Slide the shoulder blades towards each other. Push your head back. Imagine there's a posture hook behind you. Lift your head up, and as if you were putting it on a posture hook to help add a little bit of traction in your spine. Slide the shoulder blades towards each other. Take one more breath. And then go ahead and release. Shake your arms out. Take your block off to the side. And then bring yourself onto your blanket. Bring your knees all the way back. We're going to begin our first posture that works on the core and works on the body for strength. So the knees are all the way to the back of the blanket. We're going to come into plank. So let's take the hands, walk the hands forward, and the pointer fingers are forward so that your body then comes forward, and you have to manage this. Do not let your pelvis fall down. Start to activate your core, drawing your pubic bone towards your low ribs pressing back up towards the sky, and try to flatten out the low back here. Do not round the upper spine. Your head is forward. So you could stay here in the modification, or you could flip your toes under and lift your heels off the floor. From here, you're pushing through your feet. Make sure your hands are underneath your shoulders, so you may need to walk them a little bit closer together, and spread your fingers a lot. Push your fingers into the ground, and then bring your awareness to your feet. They should be body distance, which is about 6 inches. And then let's challenge ourselves here in this plank posture. Push your right foot into the floor, lift your left leg up, and then take your left leg slowly, tap it on the ground to the side, bring it back up, tap it to center, up and to the side, up and to center. Keep your head lifted, don't let your head hang, strengthening the glutes, strengthening the hips, strengthening the core. Last one, let's go to the other side. Push your hands into the ground, push your feet, push through your heels. Lift up and out to the side, touch the floor, and come back. Keep your head active. Go slow with your leg and lift it up high if you can. Slow and high with control in that hip joint, strengthening the muscles of the hip joint and the upper body and the core. One more. And then go ahead and bring yourself down. Come all the way out, take a break, come up, shake your wrists, open and close your hands, roll your wrists. And then come to a seated position where you can catch your breath. So close your eyes. Keep your eyes closed and catch your breath. When you're trying to catch your breath, breathing down to your pelvis, deepening your breath, using the diaphragm. And then go ahead and open your eyes. So let's go down onto the ground and do some back strengthening, because posture has so much to do with your upper body. And part of fall prevention is you make sure that you take rounding out of your spine or you correct your posture. So when you strengthen your upper back to hold you upright, then you're being held in an upright position and you're not in that already falling position, which a lot of people are in. When you have a roundness in your spine and your head is forward, you're already in the falling position. So for fall prevention, we want to bring ourselves out of that falling position. So bring your blanket back. It should be on the lower 1/3 of your mat. Bring your knees onto the blanket. Walk yourself forward, walk yourself down onto the ground, and then bring your pelvis onto the ground. Come up into what's called a Sphinx posture. Your forearms are on the ground, spread your fingers. Push your hands into the floor, push your feet into the floor so that the knees come off the floor, and then push your heart forward, push away from the ground so you have length in your spine. From here, lengthen down onto the ground, and then bring your hands alongside your body so that your fingertips are away from you, your arms are right next to you, your lower wrist area is touching your body, and your elbows are up towards the sky, toes are touching the floor. Push into the ground, the knees come off. Lengthen the back of the neck, tuck your forehead touches to the ground, exhale. And as you inhale, imagine you're pushing a marble away with your nose. You push your hands into the ground, you start to lift your upper body away from the ground, and then you exhale to lower. Arms stay close to the body, elbows up towards the sky. Inhale and exhale. Inhale up. Push your pubic bone to protect your low back into the floor. Pubic bone is the bottom part of the torso in the front of your body. One more. And then lower yourself down. Fold your hands one at a time, one on top of the other. Spread your legs, let your body relax here. Let the tension come out of the spine and out of the back. Catch your breath, close your mouth, breathe down to your pelvis. Feel your heart beating. So let's go into a locust posture. Take your arms alongside your body. Let your toes touch. Long spine here. Take an exhale. And as you inhale, let your nose push away. Let your head come up. Start to peel your torso away from the floor. Push your pubic bone, the base of your front body, below the belly button. Push that into the ground. Tailbone is drawing back towards the feet behind you. And then lift your legs off, lift your arms off. Come into locust. Now in locust, try to turn the soles of the feet up towards the sky. Reach long with the hands. Reach your head long and up away from the ground. Your legs up and away from the ground. If you can clasp your hands and keep your hands off your body, you could try to clasp your hands, shoulder blades slide towards each other. But if you need to keep your arms straight when you do this, so if your arms are down on your body, go back to having them unclasped. And if you can clasp and lift high, do that. Reach out your toes, reach out the crown of your head. Reach up away from the ground and bend your spine as much as you can. So shoulder blades press forward, trying to bend the upper spine. Reach long with your toes, long with your head, long with your arms. Take one more breath. And then when you come down, folding your arms one on top of the other with the hands, take your legs as wide as your mat. Let your forehead rest on the back of your hands to rest your upper back. Bend your legs and let your legs flop side to side. So you're not trying to get to the ground. You're not pushing them to the ground. Your pelvis is not rocking. Your pelvis stays on the ground. The hips are moving in the socket. Take one more breath. And then take your arm away from you. Come onto your side and pushing yourself away, not leading with your head, but pushing yourself up and away from the ground. Let's prepare to do a hovering twist, which is a pretty strong side core strengthener. So you're going to need the block for this. So you're going to bring yourself down onto the ground, making sure you do not round your spine. When you do that, coming down onto the ground, we're going to hover or twist. You're going to take the block, place the block between your shins at this level. So the block is at this level between your shins, this right here. Not the long ways and not the short ways, but the middle. So you put the block between your shins, and then you bring your hands to the side. So with this twist, we're going to go into the twist and we're going to hold it in a hover. So you have to make sure that you don't go too far so that you can really hover and use your core for this. So feel your sacrum rocking side to side. You feel your sacrum on the ground. Hands are on the floor. Squeeze the block. Toes are pulling towards you. You're going to inhale into the twist. So inhale into the twist to where you can hold it. So go to where there's a lot of work to hold this. Stay there in that held position. Squeeze the block, toes are towards you. And then you'll feel the right buttock on the ground. You're going to have a very active core. Try to keep both shoulder blades on the ground. Use your hands to help you here as well. Squeeze the block. If you want a little bit more intensity, you can unbend your legs, coming into a little bit more intensity, or you can keep them bent. So choose what's right for you. Farther you go to the side, the more work you have to do. Managing your core, contracting your core, holding the weight of your legs out to the side. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself back to center. We're going to go to the other side. So bring yourself back to neutral, let everything settle. And then let's enter the other side, bringing your legs to a place where you feel a lot of tension. You have to manage that hover with your core. Squeeze the block, draw the toes towards you. Unbending the legs if you'd like, or keeping them bent, going as far as you can where you have to manage that. Contract your core. Keep your torso on the ground. Use your hands to help you as well. Really activate that core to handle the weight of the legs in this position. Take one more breath. And then go ahead and bring yourself back. Take the block out. Draw your knees into your chest and rock your body side to side. Let your feet go on the ground. Let your hand go on your belly. Let your knees fall in towards each other. Close your eyes, catch your breath.
So in between the postures, give a lot in each posture. And then the heart rate accelerates when you're using a lot of muscles and a lot of intensity. And then allow yourself to recalibrate, to take a break when you finish each posture. Breathe deeply. Breath, the inhale brings in oxygen, which gives your body the energy it needs. And then go ahead and open your eyes. So we're going to do the bridge posture. You'll need the strap for this. So go ahead and get your strap. And I would prefer that you have a loop in your strap. So having a loop in the strap or tying the strap if you don't have a loop. So try that. And then if you do not have a strap, you could use a block or a blanket between your legs to squeeze them. So you activate the center midline support muscles. With the strap, you're going to get the side of your body. With the block, you're going to get the center. So they're both good. Bringing the strap to the top part of your legs. And you want to be able to push into it to feel resistance so it doesn't keep sliding. So do whatever you need to do to feel that, or otherwise you can use a block underneath your body. So choose what's appropriate for you. So with the bridge, the most important thing here is that you're trying to bend the upper spine. So when we're doing this posture for bone health, we want to try to bend the upper spine as much as possible. So as you lift your pelvis, make sure you bring in that back bend shape and the weight comes to the top part of your upper back, not into your head and neck. So take the blanket away from the back of your head, press your arms into the ground to lift your rib cage up, to slide the shoulder blades closer to each other. Walk the feet in towards your body. Arms are either down alongside your body or elbows are bent. Lift your head, tuck your chin. Take an exhale here. Inhale, push out on the strap, push your feet into the floor, and as you exhale, squeeze your tushy. Start to lift your spine up away from the ground, up towards the sky. Close your eyes. Feel your spine bend. Push your feet into the floor and let the weight go to the upper back. And then bend the either arms are bent or straight, and you decide, but bend your spine as much as you can. Use your shoulder blades to press forward to help to bend the upper spine. If you're able to clasp and keep your arms straight and press your arms into the ground and not let your upper body rest on your arms, you could go to a clasp position. But if you try to reach your hands and your elbows are bent and you're resting on your arms, you're not bending your spine in the way that we need or want. So arms are straight, elbows are bent, or you clasp. Those are the choices. Push your feet into the floor, push out on the strap, or squeeze the block, and bring your awareness to your spine as you bend your spine as much as you can. Using the back of your body, really push away from the ground with the hands, push away with the feet, push out into the strap or squeeze the block. Create a lot of tension in the back of your body, a lot of strength. Push your arms into the ground, push your feet into the ground, squeeze your tushy, lift your pelvis, bend your spine, press your shoulder blades to bend your spine. Take one more breath. When you come down slowly. Lift your heels off the floor. Let your torso be long. Start to tilt your pelvis back so you try to place the low back onto the ground before the pelvis. Feel that stretch in your low back, in your spine. Bring the blanket back behind your head. Take your strap off or block out, put them on the side. Come into a fully stretched position to stretch your body. Take one more breath. Bend your knees, draw your knees into your chest, rock side to side. Come into a happy baby, either holding on behind your hamstrings or grabbing in between the big toe and the second toe, wide legs, rocking side to side. And then knees to chest, come onto your side, push yourself up and away from the ground, bring yourself all the way up. So we're gonna come up to the seated postures, the standing postures, but before we do that, let's try one balance thing here. So if your knees bend and you're able to do this, come onto your toes, have your feet pretty close together, come onto your toes, bring your hands together and balance on your toes here. So for a side view of this, now if your knees don't bend, of course it's impossible to do this, but do your best with whatever variation you're able to achieve. And then from here, if you are in this position, if you're able to bring yourself up to a standing, do that. And if not, then bring your hands, or come down onto your hands and knees, come onto your blanket, bring your foot forward, make sure that you have nothing in the way. So here we have props, and that's an important thing because for fall prevention, you want to make sure your space doesn't have anything that'll get in your way. And that's one thing that can actually trip you up. So flip your toes under, bring yourself forward, bring yourself all the way up to standing. Okay, so get whatever props you need. So we will either use a chair or the wall and a block. So get those, take everything else off to the side and move your mat closer to the wall if you're using the wall, or get your chair if you're gonna use a chair. So having whatever you need for this part of the practice, working on standing postures and balance. Still need this to be a little higher. Oops. Okay, perfect. I know I kind of went at an angle there, but that's what's going to happen today. All right. So from here, let's find mountain. Posture of alignment. All other postures are in or come from the mountain. Mountain is the alignment of your body, stacking of your joints. So find mountain. First, bringing your awareness to your feet. So feel the top part of your foot where all 5 toes are. Feel the ball of your foot, even. So feel the pinkies on both sides, big toes on both sides, and equal pressure on your feet. From there, push your heels into the ground so you feel the heels, the outside edge, the inside edge, and the center of your heels. Press your top thighs back so you can free up any holding patterns in your pelvis. When you push the top thighs back, your pelvis can go more into a neutral position. The heels can go down, or the tailbone points down between the heels. Then reaching down with the hands and back with the hands. Bring your lower rib cage right above the top of the pelvis. Find length in your spine. Chin is parallel towards the ground. Push your hands back, push your head back. Don't lose that connection in the feet, so feel that all parts of the feet are touching the ground, pushing down, top thighs back. Take one more breath. From here, we're going to come into balance. So move your body weight over to the left and then bend the right knee and the right toes and let the right knee go out to the side without moving your pelvis. Bring the foot up either on top of the other foot, so the right foot on top of the left, or bring the right foot in between the ankle and the knee. Push the right foot into the left leg,
Push the left leg into the floor so you get nice and tall. Hands are down alongside your body, or you can come up into a different variation if you'd like to come up with your arms elevated. If you'd like to challenge yourself, the next thing would be to actually move your head. So try moving the head up a little towards the sky or to right above you. It's going to add more challenge because now we're bringing in the vestibular balance center, moving the head position and the fluids in the ears. If that is not enough and you want more, you can add challenge with visual. So closing one eye at a time or eventually trying both eyes, which is pretty intense. Push the front away from the floor, push up towards the sky, lengthen your spine. Take one more breath. Slowly bring yourself out. So try to dismount gracefully back into your mountain. Find that mountain, find the tops of the feet, all 5 toes, pinky and big toes on both sides. The center of the heels, the outside edge, the inside edge. Push down with your body, down with your hands, and up with your spine. Body weight to the other side. Bending the toes in the knee. Letting the leg go out to the side without moving your pelvis. Let it be hip joint only. And then bring your foot up either on top or on the inside of your leg. Push away from the floor, tall in your spine. Communication from the feet, from the floor, up the ankle joint, through the knee joint, the hip joint, up into the spine, up all the way in the spine to the brain. Body is talking to itself. Do you need the front muscles turned on or the side muscles turned on or the back muscles turned on? So maintaining that line of communication for balance. Push away from the ground. Be anatomically aligned in your joints for a more free flow communication for balance. If you want to bring your hands into a different position, try that. If you want to bring your head up, try that. Or if you're challenging yourself with closing one eye at a time, or eventually both, working up towards that, or maybe not ever working up towards that. Do what's appropriate for you. And then take one more breath. And then bring yourself slowly down, out, back to the mountain. Find that alignment in the feet, the tops of the feet, the pinky toes, the big toes, the whole ball of the foot. The center of the heel, the outside edge, the inside edge. Push the top thighs back, point the tailbone down in between the heels. Hands reach down and back. Spine is long, chin is parallel, push the head back. Feel this in your body. This is where your best communication for balance exists, is in an aligned skeleton, alignment in your joints. Take one more breath. And then go ahead and release. So we're going to do a posture called Ardha Chandrasana, or half moon posture. We're going to balance on the side of our hip joint. Doing it near a wall is great. Doing it with a block if you have a lot of flexibility in your legs. And if you don't, have a chair so you don't have to go down as far. So I'll get the chair to demo that, and I'll have the block. So bring the chair next to the wall, bring the block onto the ground, and you'll see what works for your body. So it may be that you want to do the chair, and it's a lot about the flexibility of the legs. And then having the wall here is great too. So your toes face the block. You could either begin with your hand on the chair or your hand on the block. And then you're going to lift your leg and bring your top leg so your toes are facing forward. If you are against the wall, you want your tushy cheeks to touch the wall, both of them. Really trying to get that top tushy cheek to touch the wall as well. Bringing your arms up. You could bring your arms over to the side if you'd like. Your hand that's on the block or the chair, you decide which feels better for you, but make sure you're really lifting the leg that's in the air. So lift that leg that's in the air.
If you are against the wall, try to get both buttocks to touch, push the heel into the wall, the hand up. So lift your leg, let your your leg that's in the air be active. So that's gonna keep really active hip joint. And the arm is up towards the sky, and then lengthen your spine. Make sure you're not rounding your spine. You could even bring your head to the wall, try to bring your shoulder blades to the wall and the buttocks to the wall, pushing your heel into the wall. Get nice and tall here in your body. Take one more breath. And then you're gonna bend your leg to come out. So dismount, come out, keep your spine nice and long as you bring yourself all the way down, bring yourself all the way up and all the way out. And then we're gonna go to the other side. So you take your chair over or your block, but always use the props if you need them. That's a really important thing. I like to do this at the wall because when you challenge yourself with balance, there's a couple of factors. There's the strength that happens in the muscles in the joints, and there's the balance that happens. So if you want developing that strength with the support, it can be really nice. Okay, can you put your block on the ground and or your chair? And then your feet are facing the block. Take your hand on the block or take your hand on the chair and bring yourself up. With the wall, you get that nice reference point of feeling buttocks against the wall, having your leg lifted, toes are facing away from you. So if you could push your heel into the wall, if you could put your buttocks against the wall, maybe the shoulder blades in the head, hand is on the chair, or if you're able to go a little deeper, you put your hand on the block. So choose what's the right way for you. You're on the side of your hip joint. So feel that challenge that comes into your hip. If you want to experience the balance a little bit more, you could actually push yourself away from the wall. And the best way to do that is to take the hand, leave your fingers on the wall, but let your body move away from the wall. Keep that leg lifted and active. So either up against the wall, really working a little more in the strength in the joints, it's important for balance, or even challenging yourself in the balanced place. Long spine, heart forward. Take one more breath. And then you're gonna bend your knee to dismount, bring yourself out and down and all the way out. Take your hands by the side and shake your body. So this next posture we're gonna do, twisted triangle, one of the more challenging postures, and definitely has a balanced aspect to this. So if you're near the wall, you could keep your leg next to the wall, or you could be away from the wall, your choice. The chair could be there or the block. Bring your leg forward where the block is, or whatever leg is away from the wall, bring that forward. And then take your back foot back. Toes are pointing forward. We're gonna bend deep into the hip joint here. So you're gonna push your tushy back, bending in your hips. Push the tushy back, bending in your hips. Take one hand across, so the wall side arm goes across, goes onto the back of the chair, or comes all the way down onto the block that's on the floor, you decide. Push away from the floor with your legs and rotate your heart forward. Keeping your legs straight is a very important part of twisted triangle. So the legs stay straight, the spine stays long, and you rotate your heart forward. Pushing into your block or pushing into your chair. Push away from the floor with the back foot especially, that inner edge of the foot where the big toe and the inner edge of the heel. Legs are straight. Push, lengthen, and rotate. Take one more breath. To come out, you bend the front leg, you keep your spine nice and long, bring your block with you and your chair if you're using a chair. Preparing for the other side, put the block down. You're either touching the wall with your body or not. The leg away from the wall comes forward. Your feet are about 2.5 feet apart. You're going to begin by pushing your tushy back and bending that hip. You're going to feel that strong stretch behind your back thigh. Bring your arm across your body, on top of the chair, or onto the block. Push down, lengthen your body, lengthen your torso, and start to turn your body forward. Push away from the floor and feel that length that can come into your torso when you do this. Legs are straight. And then have your gaze, especially if you have balance issues, have your gaze somewhere where you can stabilize your body, stabilize your mind. Push your heart down, lengthen your spine, push away from the ground, and rotate your trunk. Feeling that pull on the side of the hip, so where a lot of that balance communication takes place in your body. Legs are straight, push down, get tall. Take one more breath. Bend your leg, bring yourself up, bring yourself out, come back to your mountain, find your mountain. And then go ahead and relax. Shake your body. Let me see where we're at for time. Okay. So let's end with chair, a lower body strengthener, which is really important for balance. You're gonna bring your legs together, bringing your legs together. You're gonna begin by pushing your tushy back, bending your hips, and bringing your arms forward. So push your tushy back, feel your heels on the ground, lift your toes off the ground. So you feel the toe, you're really heavy focused here in the back of your body. Then lift your hands up, sink a little deeper, push your tushy back, lift your torso up. Imagine you're holding the ball between your arms, so really activate the shoulder girdle here. Squeeze your legs so that you free up your pelvis to point your tailbone down, back behind your heels. Toes are lifting up. Reach through your fingers. Breathe deeply here. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself up and out. Shake everything. Let the tension go from your legs, tension go from your body. So we're going to come into the last posture of the day, which is Shavasana. It is the opportunity, the posture of integration, to allow everything to settle, for the body to go into the bone building, repairing zone. So if you have a chair, you could keep a chair, use the chair and put the blanket down on the ground. So whatever you choose to do, if you're near a wall, you could use the wall. You don't have to use any props, actually. You could use the floor and the blanket and come into the traditional Shavasana, or legs up the chair is a nice way to get a little relaxation to come into the body after the practice. Hands are on the belly. Stay connected to your breath through the whole Shavasana. Stay here in this moment. Gently begin to deepen your breath. Start to bring movement into your hands, your feet, your arms, and your legs. Keeping your eyes closed. Draw your knees into your chest and rock side to side. Come all the way onto your side. From here, pushing yourself up to a seated or to a kneeling position to close the practice. Bring your hands together, rub your hands together, bring your hands to your heart. Sit nice and tall. Close your mouth, breathe up and down your spine. We're going to close with sound, a humming sound. So take an exhale to create a lot of space. Inhale deeply. Bringing your hands to your forehead, we bow in gratitude. Thank you. Namaste. All right. Sorry for mishaps today of positioning of everything. Getting used to the new space, so that's what happens. Drinking my hot pink smoothie here. This is 2 dates, organic dates that were pitted, 2 carrots, 1/4 of a beet, coconut water, and strawberries. Talk about vitamin and mineral bone building combination and good for gut health too. Carrots are really good for gut health. All right, so Desiree, are you still here? And if you are, how are you doing? How was that for you?
There, I don't need this. Sue, how are you? How is Alaska? Is it freezing? And then who's the other person? I don't know if you're still here. Great. Well, so nice to have you. Where do you live, Desiree? Hot and sweaty. I love that cheese way. There were 10 postures that we did today, but we did hold them all for a really long time. So longer than a minute for a lot of them. And so definitely, okay, Charlotte, North Carolina. You know, it's really cool, Desiree. And do you have osteoporosis? Because if you do, have you had a REMS yet, an ultrasound? Dr. Andy Bush, orthopedic surgeon, has a machine called a REMS, and it's an ultrasound that tests bone quality and bone toughness, which is what is a better predictor of fracture risk than a DEXA scan. So if you have osteoporosis or bone health issues, look him up, go get the REMS test to see the true quality of your bones. Carolyn, you're welcome. So good to have you out there. All right, any more questions or anything? Anybody have any questions for me? Sorry for the confusion with the emails. I didn't teach last week, so that was the email that was in the system that went out today, and we thought we published it. Andy Bush, Dr. Andy Bush. Dr. Kim Zambito is on the west side, on the East Coast also, but Andy Bush, I believe, is in North Carolina. So you're so lucky that you're there. Women drive 5 hours to go get that test. Terry, aw, so glad you're here, and I'm so glad you did the class. Great, Deborah. Awesome. All right, I am off. Anything to report? I'm in my Get Healthy Bones class right now. So I'm going to be doing more of these because it's just like such a popular thing. We've got to look at the why of bone loss inside, and then we do all the yoga to keep the strong body, bones, balance, joints, all that stuff. All right. That's it for now. Oh, Scotland. I have 2 more spots for Scotland. If you're thinking about taking a trip to Scotland and practicing yoga in Scotland, I'd love to speak to you about if that's a possibility for you. April 28th to May 7th are the dates. So email me or contact me if you'd like more information. All right. Bye, everyone. Have a great day.